Welcome. As a pharmacy assistant, you're stepping into one of the most important roles in healthcare. You are a guardian of patient safety. Every single prescription that gets handed over the counter starts a critical journey, and you're its guide. So in this explainer, we're going to map out that exact path, from a little slip of paper all the way into a patient's hands.
So let's picture it. A patient walks up and hands you that small piece of paper. What actually happens next? Well, I can tell you it's not magic. It's a highly structured process, and it's designed for one thing above everything else: accuracy. See, every single step of this journey is a checkpoint, and at every checkpoint, you are the guardian. Your attention to detail, your focus, that's the single most important factor in making sure everything goes right.
Okay, so that journey officially begins the moment that paper leaves the patient's hand. Our very first mission is to turn that physical prescription into a flawless digital blueprint.
This first phase, it's all about building the foundation. You've got the drop-off, then the data entry, processing the billing. Each one of these steps captures another piece of the puzzle, and it all leads to printing that label, which is going to guide the rest of the process.
Now, data entry is so much more than just typing. I mean, think about it. Getting the patient's allergies right can literally prevent a life-threatening reaction. Verifying the prescriber's license number confirms that the whole thing is legitimate. And getting the correct drug, dose, and strength? Well, that's the heart of the entire order. Every single field you see here is a critical safety check.
You're also going to run into something called the SIGNA. This is basically the doctor's shorthand for instructions. And yeah, at first it might look like a secret code, but your job is to be the expert code breaker, the translator who translates that medical jargon into simple, clear instructions that absolutely anyone can understand.
Let's look at a really common one. ICAP PO TID F7D. Okay, let's break it down. ICAP just means one capsule. PO means by mouth or orally. TID is 3 times a day, and F7D, you guessed it, for 7 days. You put it all together and you get a crystal clear, safe instruction. Take one capsule orally 3 times a day for 7 days. See? That's your translation work in action. It's all about creating clarity for the patient.
So, before you even think about hitting that print button, you stop. This right here is your first and maybe your most important personal checkpoint. You have to double-check everything: the patient, the prescriber, the drug, the SIGNA. One final look at this stage can prevent a huge error down the line.
All right, our digital blueprint is perfect. Now it's time to bring it into the physical world. We're moving away from the computer screen and over to the shelf to actually prepare the medication.
When you go to grab that medication off the shelf, your most important guide is something called the DIN, or Drug Identification Number. This is a unique 8-digit code assigned to one specific drug at one specific dose in one specific form. It is your ultimate source of truth, no question.
So, why is the DIN such a big deal? Because honestly, a lot of drugs have brand names that sound really similar but have completely different effects. A mix-up could be incredibly dangerous. The DIN just cuts right through all that potential confusion. It is always unique. Trusting the number, not just the name, is a core principle of pharmacy safety.
And the next step is a non-negotiable safety gate: scanning the barcode. The computer system checks the bottle in your hand against that digital blueprint we made. A green light, a successful scan, means you're good to go. But a red flag, a failed scan, it means you stop. Period. You do not move forward until you figure out what's wrong and you verify that DIN.
And that accuracy extends to your tools, of course. It doesn't matter if you're using a counting tray for tablets, a graduated cylinder for liquids, or a weighing balance for creams, the principle is always the same: precision. Using the right tool for the job is absolutely essential for making sure the patient gets the exact dose they were prescribed.
And now for the final touches, the packaging. Professionalism really matters here. Make sure the label is on straight and is easy to read. And here's a huge pro tip for you. Never, ever cover the manufacturer's original DIN or barcode on the stock bottle. This is so important because it ensures that any other healthcare professional who looks at it later can instantly verify what's inside.
So, the medication is counted, bottled, and labeled, but the journey? It's still not over. We've just arrived at the final and honestly the most critical part of the trip: the last safety checks before it can reach the patient.
This is it. This is the single most important safety step in the entire pharmacy workflow: the pharmacist's final check. They are going to review every single thing you've done, providing that ultimate expert verification before the medication can be released. It's a huge deal.
So once it's past that final, rigorous check, the medication gets bagged up and placed in a special waiting for pickup area. And to keep things organized and, prevent any mix-ups, these are almost always arranged alphabetically by the patient's last name.
But your job as guardian isn't over just yet. When the patient actually arrives to pick it up, you perform one last verification. Always ask for their last name. Then verbally confirm what they're there to pick up. That quick little conversation can catch a serious error. And once that's all confirmed, you scan that receipt, and that officially completes its journey through your workflow.
And that's it. With that final scan, the prescription's journey is complete. So let's just take a moment to reflect on the absolutely vital role that you played in getting it there safely.
It started as just a piece of paper, and now it's a perfectly prepared medication ready to help someone. You did that. You guided it. You navigated the digital blueprint, the physical preparation, and all the final checks. You are the reason that journey was a safe one. So, that brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. As you look back on this whole process, from that initial data entry all the way to the final scan out at pickup, which single step do you personally believe is the most critical for preventing errors? Really think about it, because understanding your own answer to that question, well, that's the key to becoming a truly exceptional pharmacy assistant.